Hello everyone and welcome to my Beast Quest retrospective video on Series 10. We're finally at the big 1-0, a milestone of this series. And yeah, I'm surprised this crazy idea of mine of doing retrospectives on each series actually got lots of views and was quite popular. So I'm continuing it on because clearly you guys seem to like it. So yeah, moving on to Series 10. Finally at Series 10. Was doing the retrospectives, I did come to realize, thinking, do I need to do all the seasons or should I just go up to? I don't know where to stop with the retrospectives. Should I do them with all of them? Because by the time I get to series 31, 32 will probably be fully released. And then 32, I can't see doing a retrospective on, considering I did the Beast review. I would be doing the Beast review around that time. But with the series 31, it would have been a year since around there since I've done that Beast review. So I guess it'll make sense to do a retrospective there. But I think I'm aiming to get to at least series 25. If I go up to series 30, happy days, I'll do that. And whether I'll continue afterwards, I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, that's a far future thing. We're going to be talking about Series 10 with the following beasts being Noctilla the Death Owl, Shamani the Raging Flame, Lustor the Acid Dart, Voltrex the Two-Headed Octopus, Tecton the Armored Giant, and Doomskull the King of Fear. So all of these beasts have a gimmick in common where they start off being former heroes of Avantia called the Knights of Forton. And as they've been possessed by Malvel, they go out into the realm of Avantia. And once they get defeated in their night form, they transform into the beast that defeated them. So these beasts the beasts here are arguably old, but they also have a kill under their belt. So I think these beasts are meant to set the standard of being some of the strongest beasts there are, the most intimidating batch. And I see the intimidation. I see the intimidation on these beasts. That's great. Are they the strongest though? I know I had this kind of conversation regarding the strongest beasts of each of series that Malvo was the main villain in, and yes, Series 10 got second place from the main series, only losing to Series 7. Definitely not biased, I promise. But for me, Series 10, definitely a strong batch of beasts and definitely an intimidating batch as well. To hear my proper opinions on though, well, we're going to need to get into the retrospective. So let's start with book number 1. Book number 1 of Series 10 is Noctilla the Death Owl. So, important thing to say about this one is that throughout this retrospective, I will be talking about the colour armour that each knight is in when it comes to which colour armour that each knight is, because then I don't know how to explain it. I'm going to be saying their weapons as well as the colour that the knight is, just to add a little bit of extra detail for each beast. As you can tell, this is one of the videos I'm doing, many videos, that I do not have a script for. So with that, let's start off with Noctilla. So Noctilla, in my opinion, is one of the better beasts of Series 10, starting out with a bang, with a rather intimidating design, with an owl without a beak. Damn. Abilities, obviously flight, agility, sharp claws, and also tar on her wings. Yeah, tar on the wings is actually a unique ability and quite a good one at that. The fight is also in the Forest of Fear, which is such a confined, claustrophobic area for an owl. Which, okay, it makes sense for an owl to be in there, but it's a claustrophobic area for a beast that's relatively large to be flying around, swooping between the trees, which shows Noctilla's enhanced reflexes as well, which is great to see as well. Important note, Noctilla was the Silver Knight of Forton, and the weapon was the axe, which makes more sense to be in a forest, because, axes chop down trees. You didn't need me to tell you that. But yeah, that lots of good things to say about Noctilla. Any negatives to really say? There isn't really much. There isn't really any negatives to say. Intimidating design, great abilities, very good fight. Noctilla's just great, in my opinion. Moving on. Book number 2 of Series 10 is a beast which I do not think as highly about. It's Shamani the Raging Flame. So for me, Shamani kind of falls a bit flat because you start off with such a great beast like Noctilla, and then you go on to Shamani, which just seems a bit of a step down. Design-wise, it doesn't look as intimidating or great. Then you got the abilities, which, okay, you got a fiery aura around you. That's good, that's good, that's good. But then that's it. That's all you really have. So, a bit underwhelming. And then the fight was even more underwhelming. It brings in Arcta, but what does Arcta really do? I don't remember if Arcta actually has an important part in this fight. So the fight's kind of forgettable as well. Shamani was the Black Knight, and the weapon was the flail. So, okay. Alright colour, matches the fur colour of Shamani. The weapon is not one that's very well known, but it's like... I think it's like a mace attached to a chain, attached to a wooden stick that you swing around like nunchucks. I think that's the best way to describe a flail. Yeah, that seems about right. And yeah, that's really all I can really say about Shamani. Underwhelming. Yeah, best way to explain it. I do like the fiery aura, the burnt orange color of her eyes, though, which brings Shamani up a little bit, but that's kind of it. Book number 3 is Lustor the Acid Dart. Lustor was the Red Knight, and the weapon was the sword. So yeah, probably the most common weapon that any knight has, and that's it. And for it to be used at this point in the series, you're just left wondering what weapons are next. But yeah, Red Knight had this hot aura around him, which was also quite unique to see. And then when going into Lustor, you have this quite ugly looking design, but I like the design. Kind of intimidating to a point as well, with great abilities, being able to shoot a cluster of acid from your throat sac, use your tongue as an extra arm, but also like a whip, the sharp claws. Not exactly a fast beast, but yeah, alright though. And the fight's good. In my opinion, the fight is not actually that bad. However, actually, the fight also brings in Epos, which is a fun thing to see as well. And they have a good fight against each other. Lustor almost defeats Epos, which shows how strong this beast is. But then Lustor's biggest weakness is shown, and that is he's not immune to his own acid, which is obviously the cause for his downfall. And then a silver disc, which I believe Tom found, was thrown at him, which cuts open his throat sac, which causes acid to gush out, which obviously killed him. So a bit of a violent end for Lustor as well, but hey, it was fun and kind of great to see that amount of detail in a children's book. Moving on to book 4. Book 4 is Voltrex the Two-Headed Octopus. And before I start talking about Voltrex, I just need to point out how many times I've spoken about Voltrex in my videos recently. For this month alone, I've spoken about Voltrex, I think 4, 5, maybe 6 times. And that's including the Christmas special video, which I'm going to be uploading on Christmas Day. So yeah, I've spoken about Voltrex so many times this month on this channel, where I think I need to give Voltrex a break, because I'm actually running out of things to talk about him with. But Voltrex was the Blue Knight with the mace as a weapon, and obviously the battle took place in the Western Ocean, and Sepron was involved. Yeah, I mean, Tagus was probably in Noctilla then. If Arcta was in Shamani, Epos was in Lustor, Tagus must have been in Noctilla, because Sepron was in this one, Nanook's in the next one, and Furno was in the finale. So yeah, definitely Tagus in Noctilla. But yeah, Voltrex, design, I liked it at first, but now it's just fallen a bit flat for me, where it just seems a little bit underwhelming, actually. Yay, a two-headed octopus. Okay, that's good, but that's it. Nothing really much as special about it. You got spikes along your tentacles, okay, and a joint mouth. All right, all right. But I don't really see the appeal in it anymore. I remember Voltrex was my favorite of this series, but now I just can't say. Voltrex has fallen down a lot in my rankings for me, and yeah, I can't really say Voltrex is a great beast anymore. I'll just say it's a good one. One of the highlights of Series 10, but not a great one in my opinion. Book 5 is Texan the Armored Giant. So with this one, this was the White Knight, and the weapon was the lance. And yeah, the design looks quite good, but at the time when I did my beast review, I wasn't a big fan of it. Now I do appreciate it, but there is a superior which comes out later, like 14 seasons later, and the abilities are not really much to write home about when it's done better by the predecessor, which is afterwards. Then you got the fight, which is with the fight of Texan versus Tom. It was wasted because, well, kind of rushed really, because it focused more on a fight between the White Knight versus Taladon. And that's what brings Texan down actually, because it was focused more on the White Knight than it was for the actual beast. So yeah, Texan, well, the White Knight killed Taladon, and then Tom disabled the White Knight, and then the White Knight transformed into Texan, and then Tom took down Texan quite quickly. I imagine with the help of Nanook. Well done, Nanook. You took down Texan. Yeah, that's really all I can really say about Texan. It focused more on the Knight than it did for the actual beast. And the final book of this series is Doomskull, the King of Fear. Now, for me, Doomskull has a very intimidating design, probably the most intimidating out of all the beasts of Series 10. However, the abilities aren't really that impressive, and the fight is just as bad. Doomskull was the Golden Knight, with the weapon being the daggers. And yeah, this book focused more on Tom's anger and grief with dealing with Taladon's death in the previous book, which is fine, don't get me wrong. That's great on a story perspective. On a beast perspective, though, it gives Doomskull the shaft to where there's not really much to say about Doomskull, and he just becomes a bit underwhelming. And then and then after he was defeated quite quickly, it focuses on Tom trying to disable Malvel, and it seemed like Tom was about to kill Malvel because of his anger, but then he lets up. He shows him mercy, and then when Malvel was about to kill Tom from behind, Ferno comes in and kills Malvel. So all right finale, but for a beast perspective, it kind of gives Doomskull a shaft, and with a beast that intimidating, with such a good big reputation, where it covers the actual title of the book with its design, I pictured more, and Doomskull hasn't provided me with that satisfaction of a great finale beast. And that is Series 10. Honestly, in my opinion, on a story perspective, it is definitely one of the best seasons. So I do understand why sorry, but I do understand why Lucas holds this series in high regard. So yeah, I do understand that, and yeah, I personally would too if I was doing it on book story perspective. I cannot talk today. However, on a beast perspective, for me, it's average. You got two beasts which are either okay or underutilized, making it okay as well. You got another beast which is good, but overshadowed by a future book which is miles better. You got another beast which is had good moments, but it's so forgettable. And then you got the last two, one being set up to be this very intimidating beast, but it's weak to his own weapon. And then the last one, supposedly the weakest one, according to the status quo of the season, uh, being the best one. And that best one doesn't really have much negatives to it. So, yeah, Series 10. Yeah, got the formula for the beasts wrong. I would rather the underutilized beast be the first beast of the series. So, yeah, Series 9 got something right there. And Series 10 took it, flipped it. The best beast is the first one. So, don't know how that works, but whatever. We're going to go into the ranking now. But first of all, talking about Series 10 as a whole, on a beast perspective, it's intimidating. But on another standpoint, looking at it, compared to other seasons that I've read and got to know these beasts, Series 10 fades into the background, making it seem like one of the strongest batch of beasts. And yeah, I still believe it is, but it's only supported by Tecton as the main strongest beast. That's not a great look. It really isn't. So yeah, moving on to the ranking of the beasts in this series. This is my opinion, so if your opinion is different, please in the comments below what your ranking of the series is. But for me, this is the ranking that is probably going to stay as. Yeah. So 6th place is Shamani the Raging Flame. This has always been my least favorite of Series 10 because it's one of the books of Series 10 which is supposed to get you hooked into this series, and it's the continuation of the first part, and it just seemed a bit rushed, and like I find most about Shamani being quite forgettable, and as a beast, I can't say I remember anything from Shamani's fight, and the abilities, I'm clutching at straws there as well. Design, in my opinion, is underwhelming as well, and there's a better Panther design of a beast 6 seasons ago with the series finale of Series 4. So moving on to my 5th place beast, which is Doomskull the King of Fear. As I said whilst doing the retrospective on this beast, it is underwhelming. It's been overshadowed by the story to the point where, was it actually in the book? It's probably in the book for like 2 chapters, and for half of 1 chapter it was the night. And then the rest of it is just like, okay, let's fight this beast. Oh, okay, let's have Tom dealing with the death of his father. Then let's have Tom threaten a random person in King Hugo's palace. And then let's have Tom try to kill Malraux, but then show him mercy. So then Verna comes in and kills Malraux for Tom. This is confusing. And yes, great story. Don't get me wrong. Bit out of character for Tom, but dealing with grief, it's fine. It's fine. 5 stages of grief, anger is in it. So yeah, okay, I'll deal with that. But the beast gets the shaft, and I can't like Doomskull for that. Because of the role which I've been given being the beast viewer, Doomskull is one of the worst beasts of this series. Intimidating design, bad abilities, and an even worse fight. Moving on to 4th place with Tecton the Armored Giant. So the only reason why Tecton is 4th place is because of the fight is more highlighted on the White Knight versus Taladon, which gives Tecton the shaft. And yeah, starts the whole story of book 6. So yeah, okay, can't have a problem with that. But it gives him the shaft and makes it very easy for me to say that Series 24 has a better beast which can curl up into a ball that's the size of a tower. So yeah, that Tecton is shafted because of story as well. I do understand why Texan and Doomskull are Lucas's favourite of Series 10. However, on a Beast perspective, they're not that great. Yeah. I know this is my opinion, but personally, I see that as facts. I can't really say that these two beasts are great when they are barely in the book. Moving on to third place is actually, in my opinion, quite a forgettable beast in this series, despite it being my favourite of Series 10 when I did the Beast review 4 years ago. Voltrex the Two-Headed Octopus. Yeah, I don't remember much from Voltrex, and I can't even say I love his design anymore. Every positive I had about Voltrex is gone out the window, and I only have him over the other three beasts because he's not underutilized in his book. He's in there for a fair amount. He actually puts up a good fight and isn't shafted for the story at all. So yeah, that's why Voltrex is third place for me. Second place, we have Lustor the Acid Dart. When I realised that Voltrex isn't that great, Lustor took over being my favourite of Series 10. And now he's my second favourite because of Battle of the Beasts. Being the reason why another book beat him. But Lustor was a great beast, is a great beast in my opinion, with an intimidating and unique looking design. Good abilities and a very good fight. The only downside to him is his weakness, which is kind of lame for a beast of that caliber being able to be defeated by his own weapon. It's not a great look for him, and it's a little bit embarrassing if you're being honest. So yeah, Lustor second place. Moving on to my favourite beast of Series 10, and will probably say to be my favourite beast of Series 10, as it's been like that for 4 years. Well, probably 3. I don't know how long it's been. I really don't. I lost track of time a long time ago. But yeah, my favourite beast of Series 10, and will be my favourite beast of Series 10 for quite some time, is Noctilla the Death Owl. In one of my recent videos, I said Noctilla is the weakest beast of Series 10, and I still stand by that. However, to me, she is my favourite, because the design looks intimidating like every other beast of Series 10. So, okay, equal points. Abilities are great and has a unique one. Okay, you go up, you beat Shamani, you beat Doomskull, you beat Texan, because you're not underutilized at all. Abilities stand out, you beat Voltrex, and you have a unique one, level to Lustor. And your fight is in a claustrophobic environment, which is fun and shows how good of a beast you are. Okay, you go up with Lustor, because Lustor had a similar thing. You do great in Battle of the Beast, and you make it to the top 10, losing to Carnivora the Winged Scavenger in the quarterfinals. Noctilla goes up. That is the only reason why Noctilla is my favourite beast of Series 10, because of how great she did in the OG tournament of Battle of the Beasts. In the All Generation tournament, I'm fully aware she died in round 1. But she was paired up against Plexor, so what was she going to do? So yeah, Noctilla is my favourite for that sole reason alone. She does have a good design in my opinion, great abilities, and a fantastic fight, which makes her one of the best beasts, or the best beast of Series 10 rather. And yeah, with that, that is my retrospective on Series 10 done. Overall, I'll say is personally, I'm going to get hate here, but personally, Series 10 to me is overhyped. Because when reading back through the series, I noticed how many beasts got the shaft. I noticed that, well, my opinion on Shamani stayed the same. But then I noticed how forgettable Voltrex actually is. And then you got Lustor and Noctilla. They're both great, but they can't save the whole series of 6 beasts. Especially when they are established to be such strong, intimidating, very powerful beasts. And for only 2 to be warranted as memorable from that series, and one of them is kind of fading into obscurity, that's Lustor, compared to other acid related beasts, whilst Noctilla is still able to stand in front of most of the flying related beasts. Most, not all of them. It's not a great look, and it shows that Series 10 is fading into obscurity for me. yeah. So this retrospective and my Series 9 retrospective, in case you haven't noticed, has been quite negative. I can't explain why. I don't know. Series 9 and 10 I like these seasons, don't get me wrong. When I talk about them, I do point out the positives in them. Mainly, it's the story for Series 10, and mainly, it's the beast in Series 9. But when you got a bit of according to Lucas, an underutilized story in Series 9, and for me in Series 10, underutilized beasts, put them together, you get Series 16. No, I'm joking. But I feel like if you put the beast from Series 9 with the story of Series 10, combine them together, that would be better than what we got from both of these seasons. Yes, Torpix probably wouldn't be my favourite beast then, but it would have been better in my opinion. So yeah, that's all I can really say. So with that is all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down in the corner below, and I'll see you next time.